Hello, Akron, Ohio. Hello, St. Vincent-St. Mary. So great to be back here. Before the lights went down, I don't know if you guys saw on the walls these murals. I can honestly say I saw some of these shows. The King and I, 1989, I was here, believe it or not, running around. And actually, we've got a celebrity here in the crowd. Right over here on this wall here, Little Shop of Horrors, 1996. The lead is here from my class, Eric Enright. Welcome back, Eric. It was a very salacious show. There was a kiss. I can say, Eric, now that it's been 20-something years, I thought it was a little bit weird that you stayed in character. I don't know where you are. I thought it was weird you stayed in character like during rehearsal, and I would run out to you in the hallway there, and you were acting like the character. I thought it was odd, but that's okay. I let it go. So anybody who listens to the show, which I really appreciate so many of you coming out, knows that at the start of this summer, when we started this crazy summer, I had to go for 5 weeks on the road with Team USA, which was an amazing experience. And my first stop was in Abu Dhabi. And I took an airline, which I will not mention. I just will tell you that they fly to London a lot, and they lost my bag for 5 days. So on the way here, no checking of the bag. I was not going to have that happen. And everything was going great. I arrive in Chicago on my way to change planes. No issue. I was early. And then I couldn't get to my gate because a plane that was going to London from a certain airline broke down in front of it. And so long story short, I ended up in Cleveland 3 hours late with the rental car center closed. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I didn't know how I was going to get to where I needed to go, which was 45 minutes away. I was trying Ubers. I was getting canceled on. This guy pulls up, 1:45 in the morning. Jason bagged it. My guy bagged it. I go, hey, listen, man, can you take me? To this place he needs to go? He's like, oh, man, that's pretty far away. And then he looked at me and he goes, hey, wait a minute. And he looks down at his phone and he holds up, and then I hear the song. So thank you very much to Christopher, a Hoop Collective fan who got me out of the airport. And welcome all the way from New York City, my cohort on the Hoop Collective, Tim Bontemps. We got something for Tim. He didn't know he was getting it, but here he is. Because I think it's so cool in here that the best idea is to wear a big, heavy jacket. It's going to be great. This is going to be quite the experience. We're going to see sweat. Joining us... No, I'm going to take it back after it's over. Joining us from Dallas, Texas, he is yet to be banned from this theater, but the night is young, band MacMahon. Yes, we got you a jacket too.
And nobody asked for my size or anything. Fits perfectly. Holy cow. Look at that. What a deal.
Howdy,
well, guys,
partners.
I think
like McMahon, I'm getting all kinds of free swag in Akron. I got to come back.
Oh, you're going to be invoiced. I mean, that's not free.
Yeah.
What do you guys have been in Akron for a little while. What do you think of it?
Go ahead, McMahon.
I like the river.
Cuyahoga Falls is what you're talking about.
Yeah, very nice.
What do you think about Akron? I like the river. I mean, that's definitely an outside.
Tuna tartare at the hotel, probably not the best idea, but it's a nice place.
I've been trying to get to Akron for a year and a half because my buddy Ryan Gensler is here. Give a round of applause for Ryan. Women's basketball coach at Akron University. Go Zips. I know we're not all Zips up here, certain people.
And he says I'm the one that loves the free gear.
Well, no, I'm wearing this because my guy is here, but I wanted to get out
to have as many layers on as possible.
Yes, exactly. I'm really just trying to light up Jack, who's here in the student body. Said, it's pretty hot on stage. The lights are going to be on here, so of course we all get Letterman jackets, which is going to be good for the makeup later. But anyway, I've been waiting to get here for a year to see campus, to see Ryan, and it was great being over there hanging out today, and it's cool being in town.
That was fun. Amazing facilities over at Akron, by the way.
I caught up with John Gross, the men's basketball coach too.
Much better than at Kent State, I believe.
About it.
How great their facilities are.
So when we
beautiful
were
setup.
This, my producers said, "Hey, can you get a certain NBA player, from Akron, who, may have been an ex-Cav, a Laker, And I said, no problem. And that is why we are thrilled to be joined right now by Atlanta Hawk Larry Nance Jr.
Yes, sir.
This is a guy.
Wait, I don't get a jacket.
You don't get a jacket, and you're better off.
You want mine?
That's crazy.
We also just played the St. V fight song, even though you went to Revere. So that was kind
Not
of
mad. We're in your building. I can't be mad about that.
This is a guy who lives in the off season in Akron.
Yeah.
I respect it. I love it.
Look, I've played in LA. Now I'm in Atlanta. I've been to some cool places, but you guys know home is home. This is it. So every off season I come back here. When I retire, it's going to be right here. This is home.
So it's funny. It's funny, Larry mentions playing in L.A. Obviously, you play with Kobe, play with LeBron. Our guy Stats Williams looked up the numbers. There are 18 guys.
Trivia.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, trivia question.
Trivia.
There's 18 guys in the history of the league who played with both Kobe and LeBron. You played 47 games with Kobe. You played 44 games with LeBron. There are 4 players who played more games with each of them than you. Who are they?
He's always giving like really
They're not that complicated.
You got to do like algebra to get to,
It's not
to think
that-
about
it's really
the
not
That's a
that
question.
good
complicated.
one. Right off the bat, I want to say Jordan Clarkson.
That's the one.
Jordan Clarkson is one of the 4.
All right.
Tristan Thompson.
Not one.
No, I got that.
With Kobe?
I got that
There was
reversed.
this guy. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was 7'1", about 350 pounds.
Yeah.
Won 4 championships.
Yes.
I think his name
Okay.
was Shaquille.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal played 64 games with LeBron, so he's a little bit ahead of Larry. So he's a second one.
Okay.
2 more guys.
Clarkson, Shaq.
Could I buy Andrew Bynum?
Not Andrew Bynum.
Not Andrew Bynum.
Sir,
All right.
You played with one of them. D'Angelo Russell is one of them.
There you go.
It's a good call.
Good.
Forgot about
There's
it. I wasn't
one
even
other one.
thinking about
Some
LeBron in
trivia
LA.
champs out there.
There's one
Certainly,
other one.
Certainly was not Isaiah Thomas.
Is he current?
No.
Oh, all right.
Another center. Not Mozgov.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Not Shannon Brown.
That's a good
That's a
guess.
good
Also
guess,
not a
too.
center.
Is this really obscure? Or are you going to say?
It's not obscure.
Wait, what
not
It's a
position?
obscure.
Hall of Fame, possible Hall of Fame.
Oh, I
center.
got it. I got it.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
It was not Anton Jameson.
Wait, what position?
Center. Potential Hall of Fame center. I would say
Oh,
definitely.
it's Dwight. Yeah, it's
Dwight
Dwight.
Howard.
It's
See,
Dwight.
there you go. Larry
That's
Nance
not even
brings us
potential. That's not potential. He's Hall.
Yeah,
Well, yes,
he's
I
a Hall of
agree.
Famer.
I was only
That's-
saying
he's Hall.
potential because some people are.
The speech might
Out
be
on
interesting, but he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree. So anyway, that's Larry Nance, part of history.
So yeah, so you got to. I'm sure you've been asked this before, but we played the hits here. You play with Kobe. You play with LeBron. You went to the finals with LeBron.
Yeah.
The finals, mid-season trade, which that had to be exciting. The Lakers were terrible. You came to the Cavs. You went to the finals.
If I could have been on the number. I could have been on the 73-9 Warriors. If I got traded to the Cavs, I'm happy. I'm cool. It was It was cool. It was a really good day.
When your dad was dominating with the Cavs, were you like coherent? Were you old enough?
He retired in '95. I was born in '93. So
Okay, I guess not.
Wasn't
VHS tapes do me justice though. We would rewind film over and over again growing up. So I got to see it.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a father-son combination in the NBA this year. I always say, this is a trivia question. Here's my trivia question. Ready? Larry, this is my trivia question. This is one of my favorite questions. Feel free to shout out because if you have an answer for this. Or Larry, you can answer too. What is the biggest day in the NBA?
Oh, this has come up on the pod many times.
The biggest day?
Yes.
What's the biggest day in the NBA?
Hold on. Define
Yeah,
what you mean.
schedule comes out.
Every year?
Every year. It happens every year.
The answer
Oh,
No,
is.
no. I'll take care of it from here.
Oh, you're
You
gonna
just
give
be
the answer to
quiet.
your own question.
Christmas
That's
is
what
a
you're
good
gonna
one.
do?
Schedule coming out, whatever. The answer is Father's Day.
There you go.
Father's Day is the biggest day in the NBA because the father-son connection in the NBA is extremely deep all the way across the board. You certainly can speak that. By the way,
I should have known that. I probably should have
And-
known.
One of his, he has a lot of lines he repeats. That's one he repeats.
I should have
yeah,
known.
well, they didn't hear it. Now they're going to go tell everybody. And
There
they're
you
going
go.
to go.
It's true.
And your brother Pete,
Yeah.
who's been an NBA player, brother and a dad in the league. But I don't know if you heard, there's a father-son combination in the league this year.
It's crazy, really.
Yeah. And I just think it's a cool thing the NBA did where the Lakers are playing here like the second week of the season before the G League season starts. So if everybody's healthy, Bronny and LeBron are gonna be here. Could you possibly imagine playing with your dad in the NBA?
Oh no. Me and him wouldn't make it. We wouldn't have made it through training camp. Only one of us can be there. Our heads would butt way too much. We fight nonstop.
I was driving over here with MacMahon today, and I was thinking. It occurred to me that I never thought of this. You went to Wyoming, obviously. You're from here.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to Wyoming?
You're gonna love this.
Delta.
I was going to say,
Yeah, Delta. Sure.
So
Obviously.
Larry Nance was the head coach
Yeah.
of the Cowboys, which Larry Nance is a Cleveland Heights native. Yes,
okay.
went to I know, another Ohio guy. Went to, and I'm drawing a blank here, but local university. Went to a local university, and he had never, not once, seen me play. I thought I was going to OU. They lost a scholarship. I thought I was going to Toledo. They lost a scholarship. Ohio State didn't want me. No, nobody else. Akron.
What about Akron?
Akron showed zero interest.
Wow.
My dad drove to Akron to like, hey, my kid's going to be good. I wasn't very good at that point, but my kid's going to be good. Take a look at him. We just don't see it, Larry. So Chiat flew in. He heard a Nance without a scholarship. Like, I was 6'4". Like, the kid's probably going to grow a little bit more. So he offered me sight unseen. I took a visit and committed, and sure enough, we both hit the lottery. It was really lucky.
First round draft
Really
pick,
lucky.
ladies and gentlemen. First
Really
round draft
lucky.
pick.
That's unbelievable.
Thank you.
I'm also not being sarcastic. I did not know that story. I was literally driving here. I was like, I've never thought of how you ended up there.
I don't tell it often. No, it's you always assume like, oh, the guys in the NBA, like they know they're going to be in the NBA for like, no, I knew it when I got drafted.
And so when you came to Cleveland in 2018, the team was like under huge pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It was like come in here and like all of a sudden go from the Lakers who were like we're going to rebuild to like you better get to the finals or else. What was that like for your memories?
Man, it was tough again because like my first year was Kobe's last year, and again I wouldn't trade that year for anything because we celebrating a legend and honoring his career. But the first 2 years we didn't win or learn how to win.
Yeah.
Or really learn how to win.
It was the Kobe show.
That has in a positive way. Again, I wouldn't trade that for the world. But like, yeah, we didn't really learn how to win. And so when I came to Cleveland, it was like, all right, you went from the worst team in the West to the finals, figure it out. And so me and Clarkson's head were spinning when we got here, just trying to figure it all out. But when I'm done, I can't imagine. Even if I win one on my own, like I can't imagine a cooler moment than like again. I'd never been in this building, but like we watched Bron play at the Jar and watch him play with the Cavs, and now it's like, wait, I'm in the finals with this guy. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just the coolest thing in the
Do you
world.
remember
to me.
what games you saw him play at the Jar? Do you remember it all? The Jar being the arena for podcast listeners, the University of Akron arena where LeBron played a lot in high school.
I don't specifically remember the game, but I was also at the game at that point. Was it the Gund Arena when he put it between his legs on a fast break? It was like, I've never had. What is that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? I don't. What?
Wait a minute, you're a dunker. I mean,
No.
He was 12 then.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it got more realistic as I got older, but still at that point, I just watched somebody fly.
I mean, that 2017. First off, at the time, I didn't really see it. I did not vote for LeBron for MVP that year. I've come to regret that vote because I now believe that it was his best season.
That's ridiculous.
But we're not going to get into that right now. But that playoff run was one of his great playoff runs ever. Hit a couple of game winners against Indiana. Hit a game winner against Toronto. Game 7 in Boston. You remember those games?
Like it was yesterday. I could take you play by play.
The one that I will not forget was I was at the Washington Post at the time, and I flew in for Game 7. You were here against Indiana in the first round, and it was like on a knife's edge. And basically, I think if like Nate McMillan had not sat Victor Oladipo for a few extra minutes in the second quarter, it might have ended then. And like we're all sitting there going, man, this thing could end in the first round. Might be done. It could be end of LeBron. And then of course, like goes on to that game. I think that I was with you. We're at that bar next to.
I know what you're talking about.
You like to go to bars. We're at the bar next to the Toyota Center in Houston watching that Game 7
I know
on
exactly what you're talking about.
it was on like 100-inch TV at the bar with that Tatum dunk and everything. Like that whole run was just incredible.
That Game 7, Larry, is legendary.
You know what's crazy is, again, Indiana took us to 7. Toronto, we played them second round. They were the number 1 seed in the East. And Boston was a monster.
4-0.
They took us to
4-0.
7. But there was in Game 7 in crunch time, like we were all sitting there, like there was just no world where we lost. We were all so cool because we had that guy. Like you can't beat us. We got him.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came to fruition. Like, yeah, you what are you gonna do? He's making it against Toronto. Like they had no shot, none from the second it was Cavs Raptors. Like they had no shot, and it's not like they were a really good team, but like the whole LeBronto thing was real.
Yeah.
Like the second it was scheduled, it was like a party in our locker room. Like, whoo, we're gonna get a little break before the Eastern Conference Finals. It was awesome.
That he hit the last second shot where the Raptors it like pretty much destroyed their franchise. Like the coach got fired.
Going to his left.
Everybody was about to get traded.
The franchise did recover to win the championship.
I was going to say,
I agree, but they had to rebuild the whole thing.
The title. Yeah.
The game that you have to go back and watch is Game 3 because the clinic he put on in the second half of turnaround fade jumpers from all twos, he was giving them the absolute business from just turn fade. OG, Pascal, Norman, DeMar. It didn't matter who was guarding him. He was just like, it didn't matter. You could have put anything in front of him, and he was just locked in.
And you guys on the bench were like, what?
We're like this. wait, what do you want to do on Boston next year?
Making dinner.
Again, all respect to that team. They were awesome, but it was just we had the best player.
They knew.
Yeah, but we had the best player in the world. Like, good luck.
We all watching felt the same way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So you've played the last couple of years in New Orleans. You ended up getting traded to Portland. Who did the Cavs get back in that trade? Oh, they got
that was Lowry.
Lowry Markkanen, a signed trade.
Yeah.
Then you got traded to New Orleans, and so you played the last couple of years in New Orleans. It's been an interesting run there, playing along Zion. That's another big time player you played in. I have to imagine in some practices and stuff, Zion's done some stuff that you've seen.
Practices and game, like the guy is. Yeah, I mean, outside of LeBron. Again, I caught Kobe in his last year, so that's not a fair assessment. But outside of LeBron, this guy Zion ties his shoes and does a windmill between the legs. Like he's just, I've never seen anything. I just genuinely wish more people could get their eyes on him to go watch because he's a show. It's a spectacle. The man he's a beast. I'm not looking forward to guarding him.
Yeah, because you're going to be playing for the Hawks now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a trade involving DeJounte Murray where you went to Atlanta. And by the way, like, did that hit you out of nowhere? Did you know that was coming?
The way the season ended, this is going into my 10th year.
Yeah.
I've learned how to read the NBA. I knew my number and years left and how our season ended. Yeah. I took a lot of, when I left New Orleans and drove back up here, I took everything I needed. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you.
I knew. Come on. I just knew what was going on.
I was going to ask you because obviously, our job is to look at this stuff and figure out what trades are going to happen and stuff. You've been traded a couple times in your career. What is it like to be in that moment when you get a call from whether it's Griff or somebody and say, hey, or if you see it from Woj on the internet or whatever, like, hey, I'm getting traded to wherever. Like, what is that kind of process like, whether you're ready for it or not?
It's different every time. LA to Cleveland, I found out via Woj. But again, that was just a day of, it was a high. It was a really good day. Leaving Cleveland was tough, but again, that was something that it was the right time for. Obviously it didn't work out in Portland and Cleveland. Turns out I did them a favor. Lowry turned out to be a pretty decent player and Don's even better.
Mm-hmm.
But that one was, I kind of knew that one was coming. Portland, I knew me and CJ are very close. So I knew he had asked for one and I knew I knew I was going to be part of it.
Yeah.
That's the 330 Mafia, CJ McCollum.
Yeah, it's my boy. Went to Glen Oak. So me and him are.
There's only a few people in the NBA who have 330 numbers, and me and Larry are two of them. I'll just leave it at that. Not that I'm in the NBA, but
it's true.
The NBA circles.
Yeah,
it's
it's with pride. The 330 number is a pride.
I'll never change.
Sure, I get it.
I'll never change it.
So when you were traded from Portland, you very famously had the house swap situation.
Yeah.
With your guy Josh Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, relationship there. So I'm curious.
Just so they follow. Josh Hart moved into his house in Portland when he got
and
traded.
vice
So
versa.
Josh Hart was with the Pelicans. I was with the Blazers. We switched teams, and I owned a house in Portland, and he owned a house in New Orleans. And me and him are very close from our days in LA. So we just kind of said, like, I've got kids. You got kids. We got dogs. Like, it's a nice, easy. Like, we didn't trade houses like, here's the papers to it. But, like, yeah, I just went down there and plugged in where he plugged out of, and we just, swapped. It was a
But
nice,
what's the
clean deal.
negotiation? Is it like are you guys still paying? Are you paying each other rent? Are you just taking over the mortgage? Like what? Or it's like, oh, you know what? That's comparable because those are two different real estate markets, Portland and New Orleans. Like, what's the negotiation?
I got a house. You got a house, dude.
All right.
Like,
Did you stick with those houses?
No.
Okay, it was a temporary.
I am a bit of a. I live my life very. Things have to be put away, organized. This floor has to be dusted, Swiffered, whatever you want to do. Like I am, like meticulous about the way I live. Josh's Rottweilers are not. Not specifically Josh, or he's fantastic. His wife Shannon's great, but like the Rottweilers did a number on us.
Are you saying the security deposit was not returned? Is that what you're saying?
No, we own the houses. So
oh,
it's great.
right. Okay.
Yeah, no, but it was good. We're all, it was everything was amicable. We're great.
Now, what's the arrangement in Atlanta? Was there any
you have DeJounte Murray's
candidates
crib?
there?
So, funny enough, there are of 30 teams, I probably know 3 to 4 players on each team. But the Hawks, that was the one team that I know I have no previous relationships with anybody. So I'm going down there like, how you doing? I'm Larry. We'll see where it goes.
Well, and they're counting on you to like be a veteran leader. Like that's one of the reasons they wanted to acquire you.
Yeah. Again, year 10 for me, it feels like it just doesn't feel.
You kind of messed me up there when you said year 10. I was like, man,
it doesn't feel like 10. Like, man, I still feel good. I'm 31, so
I was going to say you're not old, Larry.
No,
Listen,
I'm
the
not
guy
old.
when you were 12 years old, the guy that you were watching play when he was in high school, he's still in the league. So
You know what?
It might be only halfway home.
I don't know if I have that. But I don't know if I want that. But no, yeah, the Hawks. I don't really. I just went down. We got a house there last weekend. Flew down for the day and figured it out. Oh yeah, I've been there for the day. I leave again Monday to go down there for camp.
Yeah, Larry is being so nice because he's spending his last Friday night of the off season not going to see Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. Although I don't know if that's your thing.
That probably wouldn't have been.
That's my mom.
option.
Yeah, my mom would have been there.
His last Friday night, his last off night, basically the season he's spending with us. So we were really appreciative that he came out.
Thank you.
So, Larry, thank you so much. Good luck this year. What do you think? What do you think for the Hawks this year? I mean, I know you got to learn your teammates. It's going to be a struggle to get into the playoffs, I think.
Look, if you look at the East, I was thrilled to get out of the West. Because that 1 through 15 there is brutal. But if you look at the East, we got a number amount of teams that aren't looking to make the playoffs or care more about their draft stock than wins. So, and we're not one of those teams. So hopefully, if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll snag an 8 seed, snag a 7 seed, surprise some people.
I will say this: the Hawks are definitely not tanking this year.
They're not.
No, we're not.
They're not.
No,
They don't have their draft pick, so
We're not
will
doing
not be
that.
tanking. They will be rooting for the Lakers to lose because, in addition to Larry, they acquired the Lakers draft pick this year. So Atlanta fans will be rooting for the Hawks to win and the Lakers to lose.
That's right.
So, but hey, Larry, thank you so much for coming out.
Awesome.
We really appreciate it. Good luck this
Appreciate it,
season.
man. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks
having
for repping Northeast Ohio. You know how hard it is to find an NBA player in Akron in mid-September? Especially when all the Cavs are away this weekend for Donovan Mitchell's birthday. I mean, going to New York for the player-led workout.
And we may or may not have had some potential guests who would have been here who are not.
Yes, we did have
because
some
they
Cavs who were
other
like, oh, yeah, we're going to
engagements.
be there. Oh, wait a minute. There's a little get-together in New York, so I can't really blame them. But I do think before we bring out our next guest, we should spend a time. Almost everybody we met before the show, which was great to meet all of you, almost all of you were wearing Cavs gear. So there's some Cavs fans, apparently, who came to see us here.
Cavs Corner live in Akron.
This isn't just Cavs Corner. This is like, Cavs Center.
Cavs Block.
Yeah, Cavs Block.
Yeah.
So
Block party.
I'm looking forward. I'm hoping to go down to Cavs training camp in a couple weeks here in Sarasota. I'm not really sure why they're doing it in Sarasota because in September is when you want to be in Ohio. You don't want to be in Florida. You want to be in Florida in the winter. You want to be in Ohio in September, but whatever. But I thought we'd spend a little bit of time here talking about the Cavs. I think we owe it to our fans here.
For sure.
Also, I just want to point out, because of these lighting, we can't see like beyond the first row. So if you're throwing something at Bontemps, there's no chance he's going to see it coming.
Be careful, because Brian's mom's in the front row, so don't aim short. If you're going to hit me, throw it extra far and hit the back wall.
Yeah, it's going to come out of the blackness and go right into us. But yeah, so Bontemps has been known to be a little bearish on the Cavs. Would you put it that way?
I don't know if that's accurate.
A little.
I have high expectations for certain players.
I would say he's
That's
been
what I
known
would
to
say.
be USWB-ish on the Cavs.
Yeah. Let's have high expectations. That's all.
Yeah, so this is obviously a huge year for the local team here. Big expectations, as he said.
Talking about the Browns, right?
Oh,
Not after watching that opener.
what's the spread on that Jacksonville game? I don't.
I don't know. I'd be
I don't
picking.
know.
I'm not picking the Browns.
Hey, speaking of,
I have higher hopes
spreads,
I have higher expectations for the Cavs than the Browns. I'll put it that way.
Tennessee minus 49 over Kent State. I know a lot of people are going to be checking that out while watching the Rubber Ducks tomorrow night.
It was a tough week last week for the Flashes, losing to St. Francis, PA.
Yeah,
It's not going to be great with
anytime
this
you lose
potential
to a
Heisman
team-
Trophy quarterback for Tennessee tomorrow.
When you lose to a team, they have to put something I can't say the word
Parentheses.
That word.
Parentheses. There's the word of the day. Parentheses.
It's a
The thing to show you
parenthetical.
where they're from, that's bad. You can't lose to those teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Notre Dame's loss to Northern Illinois was the most stunning loss of the week, but it wasn't the maybe most embarrassing upset in the Midwest. So, but so the Cavs with the new coach Kenny Atkinson, and all I'm just going to say, we've talked about this if you listened to us at all. This summer, Kenny Atkinson was coaching Team France. He was the assistant coach at Team France. By the way, the head coach at Team France retired after 15 years. So chance Kenny Atkinson could be the head coach of Team France.
It might not be a coincidence that Kenny Atkinson was coaching with France this summer. I'll just say it that way.
Well, and I would just say, that's Victor Wembanyama. They've played the U.S. in the last two Olympic finals very closely until Steph this year, buried the dagger. That was one of my great memories that I'm ever going to have playing basketball. Number one, being from a little night on a Monday night in June 2016 that you guys may remember. That'll always be number one. But I'm telling you, up there was the guy who lost in 2016, putting the daggers, breaking the entire French hearts. It's one thing when Steph hits the dagger. It's another thing when he does it in France against the French. That was, and then the thing about that, I don't remember what the French word is, but he immediately produces. You remember when LeBron won in 2016 and he had the Ultimate Warrior shirt on? He had it ready, in his bag to put on the plane. Steph produces what was the word?
I think it was Newt.
The night shirt, a sweatshirt, pre-made sweatshirt, just to put it on.
He can afford it.
Well, I'm just saying.
He signed a new $62 million extension. He can make one
it's
shirt.
It's not that he can afford it. It's you produce that shirt, you're ready to put it on. You got to have the moment to set it up.
To be clear, he arrived, like LeBron arrived from the plane from San Francisco. Steph arrived at the team hotel wearing that shirt. That means that shirt was with him at the arena, and he put it on. I mean, that's not bad.
It's calling a shot.
But anyway, over the summer, what happened with Team USA with the French national team, they were playing Rudy Gobert, who's MacMahon's boy. And
I think more significantly, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
True or false?
All-Star.
True or false? You have had a pedicure with Rudy Gobert.
I know the answer.
I've had 2 pedicures in my life. One was with Rudy Gobert.
I'm not hearing true or false.
The answer's true. I don't know what this
Rudy
is.
Gobert,
It's
the
definitely
other
true.
with another celebrity, the IT department.
Yes.
Oh, what a.
By the way,
There we go.
Maria, Tim's beautiful wife, the IT department, is here with us tonight. And these all wouldn't work if it wasn't for the IT department. Also, my wife, Maureen, joining us here tonight. And my 6-year-old son, who's hopefully behaving, Dane, is with us here tonight.
Yeah.
There he is.
And my mother, Mary Lou, who taught here at St. Vincent-St. Mary, I will say for 47 years. Won 2 state championships coaching the softball
I was
team.
going to say I saw a banner in the gym.
2 banners.
Two banners.
Yeah.
She will tell me that it's actually over 50 years, but she is here. She's it's been like 3 days since she's been here, so she comes here at least once every 4 days. So she's back with us tonight. Thank you. Anyway, over the summer, Kenny Atkinson plays on this team. Team France makes a big move midway through the Olympics. They're in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They go from playing Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama together to only playing one big man. French take off, get all the way to the Olympic final, and give the U.S. a big trouble. Now he inherits this team that has 2 big men that just signed $400 million worth of contracts.
And for the aggregators, what's happening here is this is Winnie's roundabout way of predicting that Wembanyama is going to force a trade to Cleveland.
Thank you for saying it exactly that way. I can see it. Report, Wembanyama. You should root for that, but I don't think it's happening. We had a Wembanyama jersey out here, by the way. It was a gorgeous jersey before the game.
I believe that was the Fiesta Spurs edition.
That's right. So it's just going to be really interesting. We'll see what
Because Evan Mobley's a center.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He's not a powerful
Kenny
forward.
Atkinson's job is to get Evan Mobley to play like a 4. That's his job. If he does that and Evan Mobley becomes the best player on the Cavs, they got a chance to be a really elite team in the East. If he doesn't, then they're either going to have to trade Jared Allen, and because, as we know, there's a lot of centers in the league, you're not going to be able to get the same value for him, or you're just going to play them both together, and your offense is going to be good enough, and the team's not going to be good enough to where everybody here hopes they get to be, which is another real championship contending team. And that's why, between that and Darius Garland, that's why Kenny Atkinson, who's renowned as a player development coach, he was brought in to elevate the roster. And it starts with those 2 guys. And the Cavs obviously paid Evan Mobley like he's a superstar this summer, giving him a full max contract. And it's up to Kenny to get him to elevate his offensive game. And if he does, Cavs are going to be really happy.
Well, I would just say one of the things we always say in this podcast is actions over words. We're going to start hearing some words from the Cavs here in 2 weeks. They're going to open up training camp, and I'm sure we're going to hear all kinds of stuff about how their core 4, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, who signed a big contract extension this summer, which obviously was a great thing for the franchise, and Jared Allen can all play together. I expect everybody to say those things. But over the summer, when Jared Allen signed his contract extension with 24 hours to spare, they signed him so that he could be traded the last day of the trade season this year.
It was the anti-Marketing.
It was noticed that he was signed before so he could be traded.
At the risk of parodying myself, why would they do that? Because
somebody had one of those shirts too. That was a very cool shirt.
Just to leave the door open. So we'll be talking a lot about the Cavs this year on the pod. So thank you for your support.
Cavs going to remain a staple.
The bobblehead, though, it's a beautiful bobblehead. But the fingers aren't firing. I felt like that was a missed opportunity.
It's got the hair right, though. The coif.
Yeah, the hair doesn't move.
Perfect.
You'll have to speak to my agent about that. But without further ado, I want to get to our next guest who's been waiting very patiently back there. 25 years ago, I met him when he was the head basketball coach here at St. Vincent-St. Mary, leading in 1999-2000, leading a 27-0 team led by a 14/15-year-old named LeBron James. And I remember very well on a night in December, his first ever game, he scored 15 points. Thought he looked pretty good. Didn't blow me away, but I thought he looked pretty good. And I went and spoke to Keith Dambrot after the game, and he said, "This is the best player I've ever coached in my life." I was like, that's a pretty big statement. And he turned out to be quite right. He led St. V here to 2 state championships, went on to coach at the University of Akron, leading them to multiple bids in the NCAA tournament. For the last 7 years, he's been the head coach at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, where this year he led the Dukes to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 47 years. And then, as the number 11 seed, they upset BYU in the first round for one of the great runs in the tournament, one of the terrific run through the A-10, breaking Bontemps' heart, keeping the Bonnies
It's true.
out of the...
Very happy for the Dukes, though.
Yeah, and so one of the great coaches in America. He's just retired, although he's always going to be involved. He is a seminal person in LeBron's career, a seminal person to help me with basketball, and so I am very happy moving back to Akron to retire to Akron, because this is what one does, Keith Dambrot. Have you ever spent much time in the auditorium here, Keith?
I was just telling somebody this might be the first time I've ever been in here.
You work down the hall. You work down the hall. Do you remember that night, 1999, the first game at Cuyahoga Falls?
I do. Mike Manier was the coach of Cuyahoga Falls, and that was the first time out of the box for us. And we had all those 14-year-olds, but they were pretty good, Brian.
Yeah, so I always tell this story. Drew Joyce, who has replaced Keith as the head coach at Duquesne, was your sixth man that night. 5'2", maybe?
5'2", 92 pounds.
Hit his first shot. 1 minute in, hit his first shot. I'll never forget that. That was remarkable. Your vision, and I know you've told the stories throughout your whole life now, 25 years, but 25 years later, Keith, I'm in London this summer. I know it's an exhibition game. Ultimate doesn't matter, but the Americans are down to South Sudan, and LeBron scores like the last 12 points. There's 20,000 people at the O2 Arena in London. They are falling out of their chairs. The Team USA bench was watching LeBron carry them home, and I'm transported back to Ohio State 2000 at age 15, where he's carrying your team home to the state championship. From age 15 to age 39, at the end of the day, you got people making the same reaction all these years later. I can't believe it.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was never really a high school coach before I came here. And I called guys like Bob Huggins, and I said, Bob, I think I got one of the best players. And he said, well, best players what, in Ohio? Or no, I said, the best player I've ever seen. And he said, he calls me Brot. He says, Brot, you sound like a high school coach.
But he came to see him, right?
Yeah, they recruited him pretty hard until they figured out by his sophomore year that wasn't really going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I just got told a story. I spent some time this week with Eric Flannery, who's the head coach at St. Edward High School in Cleveland, who is one of the legendary high school coaches here. He's produced like 35 Division I players, some NBA players. And he told me about, he was like, I don't know if scout is the right word, but he would make suggestions to USA Basketball. And in 2001, USA Basketball, he was like the first time ever on a conference call. He was like a young coach. He was going to keep his mouth shut. And it turned out they needed a player for like their annual basketball festival. And at that time, Keith, the Ohio area did not produce basketball players. I doubt Ohio had any player who even played in the ACC. I'm talking like, anybody like playing anywhere in the ACC at the end of the bench, and, much less even the Big Ten. And Eric was like, we've got this guy, LeBron James. You may want to try him out. And they're like, from where? From Akron, Ohio? That's a football school. So Eric sort of pleaded with them to take LeBron coming off of his freshman year. And they flew out to Denver together. He said he bought him McDonald's in the airport, and LeBron dominated the entire camp, including Carmelo Anthony. And it was from there. And so people who got in on him early, like you, got to experience those moments.
Well, I remember everything about that, actually. Flannery's one of the best coaches probably ever in the state of Ohio. And I'm sure he's got such a great personality that I'm sure he was really nice about it. But that whole thing with Garfinkel at 5-star and Lenny Cook at Adidas, LeBron kind of tore up everybody when he felt like it. And, he probably ruined Lenny Cook's career even, because at that point he was the number one player in the country and LeBron wasn't. That was right when I left. I'm not too smart. I'm the only one that's dumb enough to leave LeBron James and go to Duquesne, where the last 9 coaches have been fired. So
I would flip that around. You're the only coach who ever left LeBron voluntarily.
That's
a lot of others have not had the option.
That's probably true. I should be thankful for that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, and you had one of the greatest. One of your final days of the season was one of the greatest wins in the history of the program. That's a way to go out. But I think you ended up doing okay.
It worked out.
Yeah, but I remember you used to really have to get on them. Like I remember there was a tournament game, I believe, down in if you're our podcast listener, you can Google Maps this in Worcester, which is where they used to play before they would put St. V into like Gund Arena in Cleveland for 20,000 people. They would play in a high school gym in the state tournament. I remember like you guys were down to like some nobody team, and I remember you had to like scream at him at halftime of a state playoff game. Like you had to do that. He wasn't always perfect.
I really didn't have to get on him much, Brian. Really, he's the guy that at that point of his life really wanted to be coached, wanted to be challenged. He was an easy guy to coach because he's a team first guy. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to make the right play. He's an unbelievable teammate. No different than he is now, really. He was the same then as he is now. And I think that's what separates him from most of the great players that I've had, is that he understood that he needed his teammates in order to have success, and he never thought he was better than them, although obviously he's better than everybody.
Yeah. Did you ever think he might like leave and go to Oak Hill or some other school?
You know, they all tried, and that again separates him from anybody else. He knew he could get to where he wanted to get from here. He's very loyal to his friends. I mean, you can just see how he's been throughout his life. He's still very close to those guys, and you know, I never thought he'd leave, really.
I wanted to ask you, Keith. I was over. Tim and I both went to Akron today. We'll watch practice with Ryan with the women's team, and I was looking on the wall, and Drew's name is on the wall a lot. Romeo Travis's name is on the wall a lot. And I was just curious for you, is obviously you go there, you coach those guys the whole run there, you have them here. It's a pretty unique experience to get to have a group of kids like that for that long. What was that? And obviously then Drew was with you this whole time at Duquesne. Now he's taking over for you. I imagine that's been a pretty special thing for you as a coach to have sort of that kind of relationship with, obviously beyond LeBron, that whole group of guys and how that all developed over time.
Well, I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Even without LeBron, those guys are really good players. And probably when you go to Sheon Cotton, Willie McGee, Drew Joyce, Romeo Travis, their basketball IQs are more like high-level college players than high school players. And, you know, I always tried to one of the things that I kind of stress with all of them is just to make sure we stay together and they stay together. So Willie was with me as a graduate assistant. Sheon went to play football at Ohio State, so I didn't have as much dealings with him. But then Drew played for us. The big joke with me and Drew is he was stupid 3 times. He came to St. V, played for me. He came to Akron to play for me, and then he came and coached with me. So that's ignorance.
He finally got rid of you. He finally got rid of you. And you're working as a consultant here with Akron basketball, right?
Oh no, I'm not doing anything with basketball.
Okay.
I'm actually going to help the athletic director a little bit at Akron, and I'm looking forward to that. You know, I've been involved with the University of Akron since 1958. As you know, my mother was a professor there. I was born in '58, so that's a long time. So I got to do everything I can to give back to the university that really, you know, they gave me the second chance to really go back into college coaching. So I'm going to do everything I can to help them.
So I want to ask you to tell one story. You've told it to me before. You've told it to other people before. But this was a seminal moment for LeBron. I believe after his freshman year, sophomore year, there was an arrangement to have him go play for the great Sonny Vaccaro in San Francisco. Sonny was he's a kingmaker, basically. Worked at Nike. He was portrayed by Matt Damon, which is hilarious. Hilarious that Sonny Vaccaro was portrayed by Matt Damon from a number of different reasons. In was it called Air?
Yeah.
He was at Adidas at the time, but basically decided who was going to be who. Like found Kobe Bryant, got him away from Nike, found a bunch of other players, and so there was this belief that LeBron could be something special, and so Sonny had to see him, and so Keith took LeBron out to San Francisco to play in front of Sonny. And I wonder if you could tell the story of that day when he was 15 years old.
So we're playing at the University of San Francisco. And if anybody knows LeBron, he kind of beats to his own drum, whatever he feels like he does. He doesn't care what people think, which is a good thing. And so we're playing, and I don't know whether his shorts were too big or he just didn't feel like playing, but he was messing with his shorts the whole time and really wasn't playing very good. So I took him out in the hallway and I said, "Bron, do you know who that guy is?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, well, you're going to cost yourself millions of dollars if you quit messing around. And that probably wasn't the term I used, as most of you know. So then he proceeded to do what he does. And obviously Sonny drove the price up, and he made a lot of money on that shoe deal.
He sure did. Yeah, that was Sonny. I remember Sonny's saying, I'm not going to get him, but boy, am I going to make Nike pay.
and he did.
Yes, he did.
Certainly did.
Yes, he did. So I do have to ask you about your experience this spring. You make the NCAA tournament with a run through the A-10 tournament. It's a crowning moment. You draw BYU. I don't even know what the spread was in that game, how much you guys were underdogs. And you've won a lot of big games in your career. You won some really high-stakes MAC conference championship games, a legendary game against Kent State, which didn't go my team's way. But that experience to win that game and pull that upset, I mean, that had to be one of the great moments you've had.
Well, we played really good at the end of the year, and obviously you know a lot about the Atlantic 10.
I certainly do.
It's a bear of a league that a lot of people don't know about. They really don't put much money into football. It's all basketball. They got unbelievable coaches like Coach Schmidt at St. Bonaventure and Coach McKillop at Davidson, and you go right down the line, Archie Miller, Frank Martin. It's an unbelievable league. So we had to beat St. Louis, St. Bonaventure, Dayton. Coach Grant was probably national coach of the year the one year. And then we had to beat VCU in the championship. So we played, I kind of knew we were good. We were 0-5 in the league, and we were a little bit snake bit early, but I knew we had a good team. You coach long enough, you know when you're not any good, and you know when you are pretty good. And we went to George Mason at VCU at the end of the year and played great. And then we went into the tournament, played really good. And then BYU was a pretty good draw for us because we had seen a lot of the things that they did. A good team. But we caught them on a night where we played pretty good and they were just okay. And it was a big win for our school. And it was especially important to me. My dad played at Duquesne when they were number one in the country. They lost the national championship game in 1950. So that's one of the reasons I went. I got tired of hearing him say how bad Duquesne was. And so for me, I was able to coach in my alma mater at Akron and then go to Duquesne and finish my career. So it was a big deal for me.
I mean, I know, like you said, I went to St. Bonaventure. Everybody doesn't know, and I've obviously followed the A-10 for a long time. And the Dukes it's been a rough program for a long time. And I know a bunch of people who went there and how much it meant to them for them to win. I didn't know that about your dad. But what was that like, having that run, going through the tournament, even just getting to the tournament with your dad's alma mater? With, like, obviously it's not Duke, it's not North Carolina. It's a school that has a pretty passionate fan base, but hadn't experienced anything like that, let alone win in a tournament game like that.
Well, I think first and foremost, I don't think anybody thought we could do it. Like, they had this self-fulfilling prophecy that they were just going to get beat up every single year. And you know how what Mark did at St. Bonaventure was very similar.
Yep.
They had this proud tradition of being great going all the way back. My dad's teams played them even. They were great program. And then with Bob Lanier, and then he resurrected them after, the debacle that they had. So it was very similar in a lot of regards. I think, again, it's such a hard league. Like, you're playing against Dayton, who puts 13,000 in every single night. So it was just a great feeling. And really, that's why I went. I thought the risk versus the reward at my age was a little bit better. Obviously, I could make a lot of money too. I mean, that was part of the decision.
Yeah, but you could have gotten a big new contract and then you retired. So I question your business sense there.
Not too smart. I laughed because I told you the thing about leaving LeBron, but I laughed when Larry said we didn't recruit him. We only had one scholarship that year.
Oh, that's right. You were on the staff.
And by the way, nobody else recruited him either. So,
right.
So it just tells you how stupid coaches are sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, yes, we talk still stories about LeBron, who was super talented and sort of made it from day one. But here you have Larry, sort of basically unrecruited, ended up being a first-round draft pick. And then here's your team 0-5, winning, getting in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That's part of the thing that makes basketball so great.
It's an inexact science. So if I would have done it over, I would have taken 2 scholarships and given them to CJ McCollum and Larry.
Yeah.
And I would have been richer quicker.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for spending some of your time with us tonight. Thank you also for taking care of me when I was a pipsqueak.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to talk about that.
What were your impressions of this guy? Let's Will in this. What were your impressions of
we're still friends, right? I guess that answers the question. And he actually came to our NCAA tournament game. So,
Oh, I know. We were talking the whole time. I was rooting hard for you guys to win that game.
I think Brian is LeBron's an unbelievable success story, but Brian's an unbelievable success story to come from where he came all the way to where he is now. I mean, that's the American dream. I mean, he did an unbelievable job, I think.
We've got the movie title, Brian Windhorst, The American.
Listen, it's another 330 Mafia guy right here.
Matt Damon, starring Matt Damon.
Hey, there's something in the water in Akron, Ohio.
What'd be more unbelievable, Matt Damon playing you or Sonny?
Probably playing me.
Wow, this might be a roast, right?
I mean, it might be. This is our daily life. That's what we do all the time.
Thank you so much, Keith, for coming out. Good luck in retirement, and thank you for everything over the years. And also, thank you so much for taking care of LeBron. You were a great steward with him. And then I know he's called on you in years past, and you've been a big part of it. And so, as a member of the St. Vincent-St. Mary community, you also brought pride to our basketball program, because when I was a senior, we were 3-17. So it was nice to see some banners go up. Keith Dambrot. All right, well, before we go, I do have a little bit of business to do. I'd like to call up the new St. Vincent-St. Mary president, Dave Vitito, if you're here. By the way, Dave played against me. We were in the same grade. He played against me in grade school, and they crushed us in basketball, relentlessly crushed us. They had this tall guy. Oh, there you are. Hey, Dave, how are you? How's it going? This guy was an athletic freak. And you had a bunch of athletic freaks on your team, and you were completely merciless on us. And I've held it against you, I just want you to know, for 30 years or some number of years. But I want to thank St. Vincent-St. Mary for hosting us here today. I have a couple other people I want to thank. I want to thank Megan Judge from ESPN, who put all this together. I want to thank ESPN Cleveland with Good Karma, who put all this together as well. Our producers, Andrew and Adrian and Jackson, who's our star. But wait, we have something for you, David. First off, it's an honorary jacket. Do you know what this will go for on the open market? It's
Hey, Larry Nance Jr. didn't even get one of those.
Yeah, we refuse to give to Larry. There's something for the school from ESPN here in the pocket here. Thanks to ESPN and all of you whose your tickets went to this tonight. We are donating $20,000 to St. Vincent-St. Mary High School. So LeBron gave a little bit more, but it's not too bad. So thank you very much for having us. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Hoop Collective, watching us, coming out tonight. We couldn't achieve this without you. We're so proud that our audience has grown and so proud that we could come here to Akron, Ohio and celebrate and have tonight. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for coming to the Hoop Collective.
Adios, amigos.
Thank you so generous. Thank you so much. Of course, thank you.